Okay, so it's the little things that add up. It's the little taking away of the heel that it finally eliminates your heel buttress and has your horse walking on his bulbs. You can map the foot. You can get in within general perimeters with measurements, just like they can. They study horses and they make boots or they make shoes, and then the farrier buys pre-made shoes to put on your horse. So you can get general anatomical measurements according to the inner foot. It's going to be windy, so I have to yell. According to the inner foot, so that you can get within range. Little imbalances eventually add up to a lot and cause coffin bone remodeling. Once a foot has been imbalanced for a long time, the coffin bone changes its shape, and there's just so much you can do to get that back. Unless, who knows, maybe I can go back. We don't know. It's a different kind of bone. But anyway, the problems, I had somebody ask me about bulb height. Sometimes you have a higher bulb on one side than the other. This is an imbalance. A lot of times it's due because one heel, instead of being upright, the buttress being upright. Let's look over here. Okay, this is your heel buttress right here. Okay, now instead of it having more of a steeper angle like this on this side, this heel buttress on this side is run forward. Whereas this one over here has a steeper angle. Now what that does is it changes the length of the heel buttress. On these two heels, it's exactly the same right under here at the hairline where the hair starts. Okay? Right under here at the hairline where the hair starts, down to the heel, it's exactly 2 inches. Okay, now right in here at my collateral groove, where the periopal skin ends right here, up, I have about, how high is that heel? 1, 2, 3, 4/8 of an inch. Now, eventually I need to have an inch up here, and that's also going to put more wall up here to support my bulb and the lateral cartilage in the back. So I'm restoring this foot, and the heel buttress is in this foot. So these heels are measured identically, but the difference between them is that this bulb is higher than this bulb. And the reason for that is because the wall here is, instead of standing up, look here, let's say this ruler represents my buttress wall. You see that? This buttress wall should be up like this. That would give this side a little more height. Okay, this should be up like that. Instead, it's run forward. So this buttress is higher, holding the bulb up, and this buttress here is forward, and it pulls the bulb forward. And also, when the wall here, when this buttress wall, like this, pushes forward, it pushes the side of the wall out, and you get an asymmetrical hoof. And the bad thing is, a lot of people think that's a flare. So they go to rasping off the outside of the hoof wall, as some people are taught to take care of flares, which just weakens the outer wall, which allows the buttress to run further forward. That was the scenario that happened here. So, okay, so if I take, now, even 1/8 of an inch right here, for this to come back even 1/8 of an inch, that's going to make this foot stand up. That's going to make this wall go in like that. All right, so, I mean, it's improved a lot. It was really bad because way back when this was running forward and pushing the side out, and I thought it was a regular fair, I kept rasping it down before I quit rasping the hoof wall down, and the foot just went like that. So it's been very, very asymmetrical. The bar flat, laid over, everything moved out that way. But a lot of it has corrected. Now, some is extreme. His isn't as bad because I've been working on it. But when I put this plastic here on the hoof, and then I measure the bulb height this way, I find that this heel is 1/8 inch higher okay, in height-wise, from the ground to the surface, than this heel. And that this heel is also higher right here on the side. You see, so what I'm going to do is I'm taking 1/8 this heel. Your buttress has a certain measurement, okay? Now, this heel here needs to come down right on the side here of the buttress. This heel needs to come down just a little bit right here, even though they're the same length. Okay, what I want to do back here is I want to lower this side to be more even here. So this, and I want to kind of shear off the heel a little bit to simulate the run forward angle of this heel to get the balance here and the bulb height the same. So, okay, so now look at my lines here. I'm taking just a little bit off of this right here, but I don't want to take any heel height off right here, or heel, the very end of the heel buttress right here. I don't want to take any of that height off. I just want a little bit from here to here to come down. And then I'm going to blend in this piece of wall here too, because I can take some off of that. It's sticking up pretty good above the sole. Whereas on this one, I want to take, even though I'm letting this grow, I want to take just a little bit off for the height when the horse is standing, because I want to match kind of this heel here to kind of get the weight balanced. Okay, so you can take your rasp. Again, I'm letting these heel buttresses grow, but while I'm doing this, I want his weight to be distributed evenly as much as possible. So I'm going to come in here. And I'm just going to, okay, I can take hoof wall off over here, and I can control how much I'm taking off so that I come right down to my line here. Now I'm going to go ahead, take some of this off. Go. Okay, now, you see how I took that right off to my line? I didn't have to take any down right there. Okay, but on this one, I want to take some down. Now, I wish I had somebody to video this so you can see me take this down, but I'm going to have to come in here and really control, angle my rasp kind of like that, really control to take that down quick. In this case, you could kind of angle your rasp in there like that and take that down. Okay, now I want you to see how I've done that, how I'm right on my line and right on my line now. Okay, I need to set his foot down and take me a little bit of a break. Now, this little bit in correcting his foot will make a difference. A lot of times these distortions happen bit by bit by bit by bit till you have no heel buttress left. So we're going bit by bit and leaving and balancing until we get them heel buttresses built up back in the foot. You know, he's still lacking half an inch minimum for this to be totally built back up the way it's supposed to be. Okay. Now, here's something else. On the anatomy, okay, the heel here, this heel kind of angles off like this on the foot itself. So I want to kind of follow the shape of the heel with the end of the heel. At least this is what I'm trying, with the end of the heel buttress. So I'm going to leave it at this height here, but I'm also going to take off this really sharp edge right here, kind of angle it in, and it kind of angles the heels, so they're kind of pushing out just a little bit if you do that. Okay. Now, if I had a little teeny rasp, I could probably come in here and do this, but what I'm going to do is I just want to kind of angle this down from right here just a little bit that way, because that would match up with the anatomy of the bar and wall in this area. So I'm just going to come in here. Whoa, quit. Okay. Okay, sometimes it's easier, where am I? It's easier to just hold the hoof like so on your knee and do it in the directions you're wanting to go. Like, I trimmed this, did a full trim and mapping trim on this just not too long ago. Alright? So, you know, but what you want to do, because the hoof is changing and because these horn tubules have grown forward and they're going to be shortening up and coming back like this, then you want to come in here and you want to start making sure that you take this down right in here and relieve it so that they keep moving back. Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to renew this a little bit. See, I have a lot of keep my rasp as flat as possible. Now I've got a lot of sole ridge that I can work with here. Now I want you to see those bars in that sole that's developing in that foot. And I just did a whole hoof trim on this. But everything's moving. I did it. Was it this foot? No, I guess I did the other foot. This foot I did a week or two ago. Now, I'm not going to do no heavy Mustang roll. I can work with the foot a lot as long as I don't put a heavy roll on it. See, and what I'm wanting this foot to do, I'm wanting that heel, this heel to come back and stand up. Now, I really don't, I got kind of a bump there. I'm not sure I like that. I might have to take a tad of that down. There, just a hair. Like I've set it up to where that heel can move in and come back. I have to keep moving over. Alright. Now I am getting a tremendous amount of soil. Now there's a bump here. I don't really want that to stay there. I like the way the sole is developing. But I want to keep my bars trimmed correctly to their anatomical position, and this one's going up here, so we're just going to kind of come in there, take that off a little bit. See, here's the thing, if you got an asymmetrical hoof here, you're wanting to come in, if you don't trim the bar correctly, it's never going to correct itself. Right. Okay. I've got, so my bar trimming. This piece right here needs to come over. Show you. See if that bar's laying up there. How are you gonna? Now it's real important to get these bars anatomically correct. They are lower than the wall. They recede. Quit. They recede and go down like this. And they are lower. Oh yeah, let's see if I can impale myself. Okay, don't want to take too much off that, want it to stay strong. See the shape of it? It's not round. See, it was where when the toe gets long and these sides grow out, what happens is you wound up with the foot like this. See? This foot, now people don't think about this. They think about, breakover in the toe. Breakover is determined by where your internal foot ends. Okay, so your foot, so there's breakover around the whole foot. And if any one part here gets too wide out like here, then that's going to mess your breakover up. Now when you don't trim the pillars down correctly, they grow long and get high, and they actually can come out like this, and you don't even know it, because it still looks similar to that, only it's just kind of square or round. See there? Yeah, look at where the bars on this foot end. I'm getting wild horse quality foot on my foot because I know where my anatomy goes on my hoof capsule. Okay. And that's all I'm going to do now. I don't want him to have sharp, this can get pretty sharp here. I don't want these edges to be sharp. So, and I'm going to make sure. Okay, good. Okay, I don't want my edges to be sharp. But he's got a lot of wall supporting his sole. I don't want him to cut himself. You know how a horse will reach over and step on himself on occasions? I don't really want him to do that. Oops, sorry. Sorry, buddy. So I'm just going to take off the sharp edges. Maybe just roll that toe a little bit from the white water line. There. Now, lead break over, all right. So I'm done with that foot. And he likes to step on rocks now. It don't bother him a lick. I have mapped Molly's foot here. Now, I haven't trimmed her for like 6 weeks. And so when I was, the 6 weeks ago, or I think it's longer than that, like about 2 months, 8 weeks maybe, I haven't trimmed her for quite a while. And at the time when I did trim her, I still didn't understand a lot about the heel buttress. It's amazing how just in a short period of time since I started understanding that. Now, I'd been leaving the heels longer anyway, so it had been making a difference, but I hadn't correlated the two together. And I had been growing Valor's heels long to try and deal with underrun heels to set the horn tubules up at a steeper angle to try and help the horn tubules in front in the pillars, quarters, move the ones in the heels back. Because if you're on a real steep angle with those tubules, they will never push and grow back at a straighter angle, straighter, more vertical angle. According to the directions that I put, you know, it isn't that I've done this the first time or anything like that. It's that I've been doing all these things, but I never put them all together into a strategy to try and get back the perfect anatomical fit of that hoop capsule on the foot. All right, so this will be the first time I have done a total mapping like I'm doing now on her. And that includes, you know, you don't just do these measurements. First of all, the measurements I've got are only for a general, oh, gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to do this. Anyway, general for a size 8 to 2 foot. Okay, haven't worked out other sizes yet. It's just general. You know, your horse's foot could be right at 3 inches. You might have to do a little more, a little less, you know, but you have to know some of the anatomy. You know, it's no different. They make, okay, I thought about this. I thought about, oh, these farriers will come along and say, you can't map, you can't tell the size. Well, then, how come you buy keg shoes? You know what keg shoes are? Those are shoes that are pre-made for the size of the horse's foot. See what I mean? So if a horse shoe company can make standard size shoes, then I can come up with the standard size mapping strategy for the same feet. Do you understand? Okay, so they can just, you know, take that criticism and blow it. But anyway, so I've mapped her foot. So I'm going to show you what I have here. Okay, all together total. Now, when I trimmed her last time, I trimmed her down. Her dorsal walls are at 3 inches. So I've been keeping them, when I trim them, at 3 inches from here to here. Now, her dorsal wall, up here where it gets soft, down to the ground, is 3 1/4 inch, or 8.5 cm. Now, I have marked it down to here at 3 inches. That's where 3 inches is. But I still haven't taken the pillars back enough on her, which have grown forward and made the toes square right here. Brought the breakover in the side of the foot out like this. Most horses have too much wall right in here, and one way you can tell is it jams up here. See right there? Now I have 3 1/2 total length right here. Even though I've been taking these down, I still have 3 1/2 longer than what I have in the toe. Okay, so I have brought that down to 3 1/4. Now, even though I'm going to take this much off of this foot this time to try and get this pillar, see, this hairline from the center here should be sloping down like this, not going up like that. And when you look at the foot, there should be no flaring. The foot does not come out like this. It's very steep-sided. Okay, now, part of this trimming strategy is you got to take pictures and trim according to pictures as well, because there's a lot you can't see with your eye. Okay, so I'm going to take this up to 2 3/4 right here. All right, and hopefully this is going to get some of the jamming. Now, what this means, if this is jammed here, that is smashing the coronary band and shoving it up right there, which you don't want. That coronary band is supposed to be able to lay very relaxed in the coronary band groove right there. Okay, now on the other side, right here, total length. Now you can see how the jamming wall like this. This wall should be laying like that, not up like that. 3 3/8 inch from here to here, or 8.5 cm. All right, and I've marked it down here again at 2 3/4 over here on the side. Now, these two lines might change at some point as I learn more about how to figure out the exact shape of the inner foot along with the external capsule here in the sides. But this is helping me get this part. Now, one way you can tell that this is going on also, now the growth lines, they start up here and they go down, 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 down. They grow out first at the heel and they end at the toe. It should all be nice and symmetrical. So if you have growth line here that goes up like this, then you know that you've got wall jamming this coronary band and hairline up right here. Now, another way you can tell is, if I can find a pen here, I'll use pink, okay, is this. In the hoof, if the hoof wall is correct, distance from here to here, Okay, this is a growth line. You can see the growth lines are symmetrical, kind of here, but right from here to here is wider from here to here than in the center of my toe here. Technically, it should be getting a little bit less. The width from here to here should get a little bit less as it rounds the corner here. See, it should be more like that with a little bit less distance from here to here in these growth lines than from here to here. Just a little bit coming around there. It lessens around the side of that toe. All right. Now, so I've mapped the toe, and I've also mapped the heels. Again, this mapping strategy is a strategy, and as I learn more about this area, I can change it. Now, her heels right from here to here are not quite an inch. Now, I let her frog kind of go bad, but it's still not too bad, but I should have been treating it, and I didn't. So I'll trim that up a bit. And what I want to do is, once this is all nice and healthy here, and I'm not taking the heels down quite like I used to, okay, that frog is going to rise up and fill up to meet the heels. You don't take the heels down to a weak, sick frog. You develop your heel buttress, make it strong, get your sole uniform thickness in here, and then you grow your frog up to meet the heels. That's the way a wild horse's foot is. Now, in a wild horse's foot, this periopal, because they do so much walking, it gets thicker and thicker, and the heels round off. And so it doesn't look like they have much of a heel. But the truth is, they have just as much heel as what you're seeing here. See, the heel buttress starts here, under the, right around the, cripes. What is that? Coronary band. Boo. Okay. And it grows down here. Right here is the end, about the end where your periopal flap here is. That's about where your internal foot up here ends. So from here to here, you need at least that much to have any sole beyond the foot itself. Okay, so what I've done here is, from here to here is not quite an inch, and over here it's a little, it's longer than this side, so I'm just going to shorten this up a tad to kind of make them level, but I'm growing these heels from here to here out 1 inch. Okay, and then I've marked the side with the directions I have on the mapping strategy for the heels. And the toe is right at 2 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this, and I'm going to let you see me take this down. Now, here, Molly. Okay, I want you to see that she's got a lot of sole ridge here. You see that? Now, I'm not going to hardly take any down in the toe here, but I will be taking quite a bit, although I will keep reading this area here. You know, I'm just not going to do it indiscriminately to the line that I've marked at 2 3/4 inches over here, which is 1/4 of an inch shorter than the toe right here on the dorsal wall. But I'm going to take this down, and we're going to see this foot round out more. Now, as you look at it, you see it's got a square toe, square sides here. Shouldn't be like that. Okay, so I'm going to let you see me do that. And again, I'm going to read the depth of the sole and the thickness of the sole right here. I'm just not going to do this indiscriminately and, you know, carve into sensitive sole and where you'll know when you find blood, because you take one rasp swipe, just one little rasp swipe too much, and you'll still have sole, but you'll just see a drop of blood come through the sole. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start rasping the sides of this toe off, and rasp this foot down to the size of my mapping, but using also my understanding of the soil depth that I've got, because see, if your frog here, if you've got the deepness of your frog and you've got a lot of dishing and you've got a big ridge around here, you've got a little bit of soil to work with. Understand? Okay. Lot to rasp down from here to here, but not much in the toe. I'm going to pay attention to how much soil ridge is here, because I don't want to take the soil ridge totally out of the foot. First, we're just going to kind of clean it up. Now, what I want you to see is how you can keep track of how much you're rasping off. I'm going to go ahead and never do this on your heels. Always look at your line and go down to your line. Oops. Now look here. A lot of you have a problem getting to a clean white line right here. That's because you've got a high toe pillar here. See? Now what I want you to pay attention to is what happens. You see how when I just knock the top of this off down level with the sole? Okay, see the sole right here? How wide that is? As I keep going down, this width of sole right here will get wider. See, like right now, I just knocked off a little bit. Okay, right here, it's only that wide. Where it's to the wall, right here. Here, you see there, gets a little wider. Wider there. Now this is what I mean. You pay attention to your sole ridge as you're bringing it down. Okay, see? I've hit some right there, it's wide. Haven't hit any here. What we want uniform eventually. You can't always get it because if your walls aren't tight in, your foot is close to the ground, you ain't got no sole to work with. Don't be rasping into the sole like what I'm doing here. You know, if you do that and you overdo it, that's your fault, not mine. Okay, I'm going to do everything I can in the manual and everything else to try and show you how to read this foot and how to see when there's a lot of sole here. I've got a lot of concavity and a lot of thick sole ridge right around here. And I know her dorsal walls are very tight and in because, well, look here, from the apex of the frog right to where the wall grows down, it's 2 inches. So I have a good, tight wall that's retaining and holding in the sole. And my foot is up off the ground, and I've got a lot of sole to work with here. Okay, I'm going to let her put her foot down for a second. Okay. All right, now, give it here. Okay, now I want you, again, pay attention to what you see the sole doing as I rasp. As I go down the sole ridge, you'll see it rasp down, you'll see it get wider. Okay? Quick. Now hold still. Okay. I want a clean white line in this toe, so that's where I'm going first. Now I'm going to get it over here. Okay, see how I come into that sole ridge? And she's still got a bunch there. I'm going to just see where I'm at for my lines. Now, in the center, at the 3-inch, I'm almost down to the line. I want you to see this darn thing. Okay, I want you to see how I've come down almost to that line. Now, if my sole was real thin, I wouldn't try to get to that line. Same over here in the pillars. If the sole is real thin, I'm not going to try and get to that line. You know, but I'm going to try and get, see, I got closer to that one. I can still come down there, but this one is telling me that it's very high. Again, a lot of it's jammed up here. If you don't start relieving this, it's never going to come down. I know I have a bunch right here, so I'm going to go ahead Molly. See how I'm going over that corner? Let's see. Okay, now did you see how the sole got wider there? Yet I'm feeling it too. It's very hard, and I still have a lot of dishing right here. The closer you get to the apex of that frog, the less sole you got. And guess what? I got right on my mark right there. I'm going to show you. See how I got right on my mark? But see how I'm still high over there? I am right on my mark. So I'm going to go ahead and take this down here. And then I'm going to have this the way it's supposed to be. Bevel these walls a little bit, give them some relief so this can start coming down. Okay, so I'm wanting to take this corner down. Check it. A little bit more, and I'll have it. Okay. Okay, give it here. Give it here. Come on. Now I'm just going to flatten that out a bit. Now, if I didn't have any sole, I'd be careful. Now, this little can go down a little bit. Okay, so she's still got a lot of concavity, and I have a sole ridge here. Ultimately, now see, I don't like kind of what I did here because I got that, quit. You want the wall level with the sole. You do not want to take the wall, unless you're meaning to, below the sole, which I angled the rest too much right there, and it's kind of going like that. So I'm going to take a look and see what I got here. All right. Now, you won't necessarily be able to do this the first time on your horse. This is the most... All right. Now, the reason, again, why am I doing this? Okay? Why am I doing that? See how I got it down to the lines? Okay, now you might not be able to do that the first time. You understand? And your horse's foot might be bigger than this. Or it might even be a little smaller. Or you haven't got tight walls, so you wouldn't be able to do it. You haven't got a tight dorsal wall. You've got flaring all over the place. You won't be able to do it quite like this. But you start this, you get in the general vicinity, you learn to read the hoof wall grid, which is the vertical horn tubules that you see go down like this, and the horizontal growth lines. There's actually a grid here in the hoof that you can learn to read to help balance the foot out. Okay. Let's look at the side here. That is looking pretty good. Okay, so now I would just kind of round off the sharp edges of her wall and let her go. Treat the frog, do the bars. You've also got to start getting your bars trimmed correctly. Okay, now that I've got this down like this, let's see what we got for bars. I can draw them in, but you need to use a ruler until you get it right. Okay? Well, let's check her. Let's just check her the angle of her hoof here. See what she's got. Okay. Oh, wait, yeah. About 54. About 54 degrees. There, that's very good. You want 55 or greater, but that's not something you trim in. It's something that the hoof capsule remodels to as it fits to the inner foot. Okay, we're going to do the bars. Okay, so on your bars, you want to come, you want to draw a line, hold on, in the center of the frog, okay, straight down the toe here. Okay, now, right inside here, right there, and from right here, right to there. Okay, that tells me where I need to bring my bars down to, because the bar anatomy is lower. It recedes. Quit. It recedes. So bring the bar right over there. And then I always kind of trim down the heel like that. Quit. Okay. I'm almost done. Now I angle the heel in just a little bit. Okay. Quit. Okay, quit. I can take a little bit off here. I'm wanting to grow the heels out. Not shorten them, but you don't want to have one longer than the other. Okay. And there we go. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to knock off these edges here so they're not sharp, see? I'll do that like that. I need a break. Okay. Okay, so again, I just want to knock off the hard edges, which I like to kind of do it like this, me personally. I don't like to really round it off because I don't want to be slipping around in the mud when it's muddy here, so I don't really round that. But I do take off these hard edges like this. Okay. I try to, if they got a thick water line, I try to just kind of back up this harder wall to the water line. See the white wall? And she still has a tremendous thickness of wall and supporting the sole. It's when you over Mustang roll it, bevel it, they're gonna be sore after a trim because the sole was never meant to just bear the weight alone. Okay, there we go. So she's still got a lot of wall there holding her up. Alright, holding up the sole, retaining the sole and bearing weight with the sole. See there?